is 10.4.77.188/19/19. So matching this CIDR to the cheat sheet onto your cheat sheet, you realize the /19 is on the third octet. So a /19 is on your third octet, and that makes this one your target IP octet. So 77 becomes your area of focus. So as such, you can get the number of addresses. As I had mentioned before, the group size corresponds to the number of IP addresses only for the foot octet. For any other octet, you have to do 2⁻32 minus your CIDR. So for this case, we have a /19. So you do, for your number of IP addresses, you have 2⁻32 minus 19, which gives you 8,192. And from there, you can get your number of usable IP addresses. You subtract 2 from that, since you're taking out the network and the broadcast IP. That gives you this. And if you're on the AWS platform, you subtract 5 instead. Now we have a /19. Matching that onto your cheat sheet, a /19 puts you under the column of a 32. And the corresponding subnet mask is a 224, which is very similar to a /27. So a /19, the subnet mask is 224. As such, your CIDR subnet is 255.255. Now remember, you're dealing with the third octet. You have 224 on the third octet. And your last octet is always 0, since you're not dealing with the last octet. At this point, you're dealing with the third octet. So your last octet, or your octet 4, is always 0. So we have these 3 last attributes dealt with. Now we have a group size of 32 going in increments. Remember, your target IP octet is 77, going in increments of 32. You go 0. So we're doing a group size, step size increment. So you go 0, 32, 64, 96. Your target IP is 77, so it falls between 64 and 96. So that gives you ID, which is the number before the target IP. As such, you have your network ID as 10.4.64. So that's 60. So you have your network ID as 10.4.64. Remember, you're dealing in the third octet, .0. And your next network, which is the IP subnet, start at 96. So you have 10.4.96.0. We're dealing with the third octet. So that's why all these numbers are changing in the third octet. Okay, so from here we have our next network. We find the broadcast IP, which is the last IP before the next network. Remember the previous example where we had a change in octet. So if our next network is 10.4.96.0 and the IP before that, so that means we had a 256, which caused this last octet, or caused the fourth octet to change, and or cause the third octet to increase by 1. So that makes the broadcast IP a .95.255. Because if you have a 256, it causes this one to go to a 96. So that is how we get the 95.255 at this point. And the first host is the network ID +1. So you have +1. So you get 10.4.64.1. And you have the last host, which is the broadcast IP -1. So you get 10.4.95.254.